Hello YouTube, and welcome to my software-defined radio series. I've been wanting to do this series forever, actually since I first started my channel, and we're finally here. In this series, I thought we could do a plethora of things, from GSM cracking to analyzing trunk radio, analyzing radio stations, detecting car key fobs, and many more things. Actually, in this video, we're going to go over two of those things. Now first, what will we actually need for analyzing radio frequencies? If this was 20 years ago or more, I would say just to get some type of radio monitoring device, some piece of old hardware. But thankfully, we have this wonderful thing called software-defined radio. Software-defined radio, or SDR for short, is a radio communication system that was originally developed in hardware form, such as with a radio monitoring system or an amplifier that's now used in software for convenience sake. That's just an abstracted version of what SDR really is though, but we will go with that for time's sake in this video. We can analyze SDR with so many different things, such as Lime SDR, HackRF, and RTL-SDR, which is what we're going to be using today. I have an open source software called SDR Sharp, which is made by AirSpy. I actually got my DVB tuner from eBay, but AirSpy offers so many great products as well. I recommend checking them out. But if you're like me and you can't afford many great things, I would recommend getting a simple RTL-SDR on eBay. They pretty much do the job just fine, and they're only $20. They are pretty limited in what they can do, but they are nonetheless powerful tools. Well, with all of my rambling out of the way, let's get started. The installation process for SDR Sharp is actually pretty simple. All you have to do is go to the AirSpy website and click on the Windows SDR software package, and click the download button. After SDR Sharp is installed, open up the zip file. You will need some kind of RAR or zip utility, such as WinRAR or 7-zip. Once opened, you will need to download a DLL called RTL-SDR.dll, which I will provide in the description. Once installed, make sure to take the RTL-SDR.dll and put it in your RTL-SDR folder that you made. Once you have put the DLL in the folder, you will need to click on the install-RTL-SDR executable, and it will do some pull requests for the necessary dependencies for the software. It will automatically install Zdig. You will need to open Zdig and transform your SDR from a tuner to a USB that Windows can detect. This is because originally RTL-SDRs were TV tuners. Click on Options and then View All Devices, and click on Vulkan Interface 1 and Interface 0, and it will transform into WinUSB drivers. I already have both of the drivers installed on mine, so we're golden. After that, just open up SDR Sharp and we're good. When you first open SDR Sharp, you want to go up here to this thing right here and click RTL-SDR USB. This is assuming you actually have your RTL-SDR plugged in. Of course, this works for HackRF and Lime SDR as well, but we're using the DVB dongle today. So, there's a lot of things to analyze here first before we actually get started. This thing right here, when it's measuring wavelengths like this, this measures like the frequency in hertz and stuff like that, and this is the signal strength up here. So yeah, like the decibels and stuff. So there's some other things here too. This is how many megahertz you want to tune your radio to. Most generally, FM stations or WFM operates on 104, 105 megahertz, at least in my area. 700 also works. You can also operate FM on AM, but the quality is usually bad. Garage door openers and car keys, they usually operate at 315 megahertz, so it can detect when car keys get, when they're in use, basically. Weather channels, they work on NFM, and in my area, the weather channel works off of 162.550 megahertz. So, you know, there's many other things you can look up in your area, like trunk police radio frequencies and fire department frequencies, but we're not going to show that today in this video. So actually, let's turn this on a second, let the wavelength go down. So this thing up here is called the Fft Display, and this basically just shows the range of megahertz we have here on the radio. This wavelength down here shows basically the same thing up here, but this shows it over time, basically. So, you know, it's what's being analyzed over time. You can actually change the range of the Fft display right here on the right, so it's actually a lower range. And you can change the RF gain in the settings menu over here. Now, generally, the RF gain, you want to set the decibels relatively low to avoid intermodulation, and set them higher if you're tuned somewhere where there's not any strong signals. Put the decibels higher, basically, whenever there's not any strong signals. So where I live, the signal isn't too good, so this DVB tuner doesn't have the best signal either. So I usually turn it up pretty high, you know, around here. So if you want to listen on a radio station, make sure you have it tuned somewhere around here, or look up where your local radio station operates on. In this case, mine operates around 105 megahertz. So as you can see here, when I click on the bigger wavelength, it actually displays a radio station. So I guess that's pretty cool. And you can go to other ones too, like this one over here. I don't know what I just did. I gotta go back. So yeah, bigger the wavelength, the higher the chance it's a radio station. But I don't want to get demonetized, so. Sometimes you can receive the RDS data, like up here, and it will tell you which song is actually playing. So, yeah. So, you know, let's say I wanted to operate a FM station on AM. So remember whenever I said that you can also operate FM on AM? Well, the quality's bad. Well, here's what it sounds like. You can barely hear it, just barely. But AM works. So, yeah, and if you want to listen to a weather channel, you're going to need to look up what your local megahertz are for your local weather channel. But most weather channels work off of NFM, and like I said, in my area, it is around 162. I don't. My bad. 162.550. Oh my goodness. And I don't know 62 dot. 550. And I don't know why that's not working. Hang on just a minute. Okay, so around here, play that. Just a while ago, I had a radio station that was working. I don't know why it's not now. I'm gonna slide it over a little bit, see if I can find something. Anything at all. Nope, there's nothing around here. Well, sadly this morning I could find a few weather radio stations, but unfortunately right now I cannot find any. So, yeah. So if you wanted to try to find garage door openers or car key fobs and when people use those, you would go around 315 megahertz. This usually works in most states in the United States because the United States usually uses 315 megahertz. I'm not getting any signals down here in the wavelength right now, but if you were to look, I'm sure you would find some. So yeah, I think I'm going to end the video here, and with that said, have a good day.